All right, I better hurry. I was late. I almost made it. Hey, it's been a while. Good morning. I'm Bradley McAllister, founder of Spiralcraft. This is Monday Methods. I'm so happy to be back. I got out here last night and tested things real quick. I think everything's working. You guys give me a thumbs up in the chat boxes and the chat columns. Looking so forward to today. Hey, I'm all sweaty because it unfortunately is hot and humid. Y'all won't worry about my hair looking a little messy, will you? I hope not. So anyway, I will make sure. Don says okay. Good to see you, Don Faulkner. It's been quite a while. Mark Thompson, good morning, sir. Thank you for the welcome back. Happy to be here. Going to have a lot of fun today. Like I say, it's been what? Was it late May, maybe early June since I did the last Monday Methods. It was a busy summer for me. I was only home like a week in late June and a couple days at the end of August before I went to SWAT in Texas. Good morning, Jeff Peters. So I was all over the place this summer. Wasn't exactly what I had planned, but hey, we got through it and we're back now and we're ready to have fun. And today, Woodcut Bowl Saver. I wanted to use one of these. Hey, Dan Hewitt, good morning. Dan is the owner, one of the co-owners, he and his wife, of Woodcut Tools, and coming to us out of New Zealand. I think it's 4 a.m. in the morning. So Dan, I hope you have your appropriate caffeine or tea or whatever it is that you consume this time of day. We're working with the Woodcut Bowl Saver today. And before everything got shut down out in the world of trade shows, this is the coring product that I was going to take out on the road and do coring with. Well, lo and behold, here we are now. I've got a bowl saver. As a matter of fact, I haven't made a big announcement about it, but we'll let it go here. Spiralcraft is now a U.S. distributor for all the Woodcut products. Right now, we do have the bowl saver in the store already. And we'll be adding the other products over the next week or two or three. There's quite a few products from the good folks there at Woodcut, and we're really excited about this. Going to be a great partnership, and looking forward to it. They make really good stuff, and I'm super excited. And on that note, you know Monday Methods is not a sales pitch. It's an educational, let's get out here with Bradley and learn how to do things, see how it works. But since we just brought this in, I did do a special. So if you're here today and you hear this, or if you watch it, tell your friends, I've got a little extra special in the website. So if you're interested in an entry level or a initial purchase, if you will, special offer on a bowl saver, they're normally $519.99. They are $499.97 this week. Use the code CORE, C-O-R-E, and get one for under $500. Got them here in the States, ready to go. We'll help you out. It's a great little coring machine, and you'll see me today. Now, as we like to say, full transparency. I just got this about a week ago, and I was out here earlier in the week, last week, and I was out here again yesterday and the day before. So I've used it a few times. I am not a master of this product, but the beauty of it is it's really easy to use. It comes with a whole set of instructions. The setup is super easy. I didn't have a difficult time. I started coring. Here's my first cores. I'd never used the coring machine before. And I got a bunch of poplar around. And my first run was a little nest of bowls here. Just like so, right? Real simple. It was real easy. I'm learning the ins and outs and how to adjust and things like that. It's very flexible. I'm amazed at how flexible it is. Hey, my mom's in here. Frank's in here. Good morning, Frank from California. Wendy, good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. So one of the preconceived notions that I personally had before I ever had my hands on a bowl corer, and I've looked at them all. In the past, when I was turning all the time, I thought about getting one and doing a lot of coring. And then I just never went there. And I had the preconceived notion that you can only make one shape. Well, that was why I've been experimenting. And so I made a few mistakes, and I can show you my hazards here too. I'm always one to show you what went wrong. That's part of Monday Methods. You don't have to feel like you are restricted to one particular shape because of the curve of the knife, let's say. This is the smaller knife, and I'll show you the whole system here in a few minutes. But you feel like, well, okay, so everything has to be exactly the same shape. Well, what I've been finding out, and that's the first thing I wanted to know, was could I alter the shape and the process to get different shaped pieces? And the answer is yes. Now, you have to do a little head scratching. You have to kind of figure it out, but it's not that difficult. So this is a piece to give you an idea. And I think I have all my cameras on. So this piece is fairly shallow, right? And it's about 12 inches, maybe 14 in diameter. I hid my tape somewhere. It's lime green, so I won't lose track of it. And I always do. This is probably about 14 inches in diameter, and I used the bigger blade. And you can see it's fairly shallow, okay? And if I put it in the overhead like so, which is camera 3, you'll see it's fairly shallow, okay? And that was one of the great tests for me to find out, could I make a shallow piece? And I could, indeed. When you look at one of the first pieces, you'll see it's much deeper, okay? Came from the same coring system. It's a matter of how you adjust the blades and the setback, if you will, for lack of better terminology. It's all about how you adjust it, how you set it up as to what you want to get going. Hey, Rich Bolduke's in here, and Jim Brinkman. Good morning, guys. So I'm finding quickly, like I said, I've only used it about 3 times now. Today will be number 4. That I can get different depths and shapes and profiles just by how I adjust it. All right. Now this poplar is green, and so today I've got 2 blanks. A piece of green poplar over here, soaking wet green, and a piece of, guess what? Who knows what kind of wood this is that I have this dry that's been laying around here forever. Somebody blurted out in the chat column, what will that be? My nemesis of the last 3 years. Somebody's bound to know. There you go, Don. Sycamore. Absolutely. I'm working my way through this sycamore. I will finish it off. Hey, Scott Hampton, good to see you. So as I was playing yesterday, I have more pieces here. Hang on. I have my samples around. Here is another one. This is really thin and got a really shallow profile to it, okay? I'll show you this in the overhead. You can see this is what happens when you get something wrong over here. Very shallow profile. That's about 5 inches in diameter. All right. So don't feel like you are committed to just one shape, which is a part of the reason why these blanks that I have here today, you'll see they're fairly deep. Excuse me. They're fairly deep. I did that for a reason. I want to show you that you can have a bigger bowl that's got some depth to it, and you can still use the corer to take multiple smaller bowls out of it and not affect your outside shape. So otherwise we would throw all that wood away, right? So now we'll make a couple extra bowls out of it. Will they be the same shape as this? Absolutely not. But that's not relevant. At least it won't be a pile of chips down here on the floor. You know, this is what I was doing before I jumped in here. I almost got late because I was getting these blanks ready. So that's the key, is that you learn to work with it, you learn to adjust. And Scott says ash. No, Scott, it's my nemesis of a bunch of sycamore. I had, what was it, 6,000 pounds of sycamore I've been working through. You learn to adjust how you work with the cutters and how you set it up, and you can get different profiles. Now, when you push the envelope, try things. So I read the directions thoroughly, right? But I started playing, wanting to know, well, how far can I go? What can I do? And as you go and adjust, here's the first lesson I learned, is that there is a, how can I put this? There is a diminishing return, and return is a good word. So I'm going to go back to the overhead here. I was trying to get as shallow a cut as I could. And if you can see here, if I use this now, the cutter itself, you see how my thickness was not uniform? And what was actually happening, if I take something that resembles a straight edge, is I found that if I went too far trying to push the envelope, I actually started to cut back into the piece, back up inside, all right? So that's one thing to keep in mind, and this is part of the learning curve, on making your adjustments. Now, had I left extra wood here, and I didn't have a lot to work with, this came out of, where'd I put my piece? All those came out of this little bowl. And this bowl was only about 3 inches deep, okay? So I didn't have a lot of wood to start with. So that's what was part of my experiment yesterday. How much can I get out of how shallow a piece? So Jim says, is there a minimum bed length? Minimum bed length. You know, Jim, I don't think so. It'll work on a mini. It works off of being in the tool rest, or the banjo. So really, to answer your question, Jim, go to the overhead. This is what you're working with. So here's your headstock over here, just out of the picture. Your piece is in the banjo. Drops right in like so. I guess the minimum bed width or length would be relative, because you're going to use your tailstock here as well. Would have to do with the piece of wood, Jim. I think that would be the determining factor more than anything else. I'll loosen some of this stuff up. And I know the camera is not perfect for all that, but here's the area you're working in. Now, once you put a blank on, so as I say, we put this blank on, everything's going to move back 5 inches. All right? Shorter blank, it's not going to move back as far. So that would be what helps determine your length. And I would think, I mean, any mini these days, especially with a bed extension, then there would be no issue. Jump back up there. There would be no issue whatsoever with a bed extension. And I don't think you would need one. And Dan, if there's a question I don't answer properly, because Dan's in here, Dan Hewitt from Woodcut, feel free, Dan, to jump in the chat column there. Participation is encouraged. You're the expert. Excuse me, I got the cough today. Okay, so let me see. How can we go about this? Right now, I've got a big blade in. It comes with, I'm going to take this apart a little bit. All right, let's do that. I'm going to take this apart and give you the basics on it, because I want to change blades. And there's more than one way to utilize the system. You can, so I have green wood and dry wood today. And you can core from the inside out, taking the smallest one first, or you can start from the outside and make the biggest core and then keep making successively smaller cores. So depending on what you want to do, and from what I've studied and seen, coring the green rough bowls, start from the inside, and this will be just a general rule of thumb. You don't have to do it that way. You start with the inside, it just makes it a little bit quicker, and work to the outside. If you're turning dry finish bowls, start from the outside and work your way in. So I know that I want to put the smaller blade on, and you can run both blades installed at the same time. I've just been having one blade in just because it's new to me, and I didn't want to have the risk of the extra blade kind of poking one way or the other. So I figured I'd keep myself safe, because you know me, I'm kind of a, well, not a bull in a china shop, but I just kind of like to get in and go. And so I'm going to move this back over. Hey, pop that out of the tailstock. There we go. And I'm going to pop into the overhead here for you real quick. And while I do that, I'm going to get myself a sip of water, try and get rid of that cough. So the blades fit into this. There's two tracks here, and I know I don't have the camera in super close, but the big blade goes in the back track. The smaller blade goes in the front track. That's why I say you can have them both in at one time. What I've seen is people turn their blade that's not in use around to keep it out of the way. All right. For right now, I just want to go with one blade installed, and I want to use the small blade. The cutters are Sterilite. I've been learning about Sterilite. Stays sharp for a long, long time, and you can sharpen it with your diamond card. So when you need to, you can sharpen it up, keep it in good shape. So there's a little pin right there, 2 bolts. And I'll try and keep my hands out of the way as much as I can. Like I said, I set this thing up the first time. Oh, hopefully my head's not in the way. And I was coring within 30 minutes reading the instructions. And I can see that I'm one of those people that doesn't always read all the instructions. I look at the pictures, I go, yeah, I got it, whether I do or not. And off I go. That's just kind of how I've always functioned. Jeff says, looks like a quality setup. I imagine that will, with that, is going to get tailstock, would eliminate vibration. You're absolutely correct, Jeff. This right here, this attachment, this end, which is adjustable, that's what goes in your tailstock and takes care of all that support in the back end. That's the beauty of this, is the whole piece goes right into your existing equipment. The setup is super easy, super fast. And using the post, it comes with a 1-inch post in the set. Apparently, earlier on, they didn't come with the post, and the post was, you ordered your post special for your machine. Now, most machines are 1 inch, and so it comes with a 1-inch post. Now, if you have something else, 3/4, 5/8, whatever you might have, we do have additional posts for you. And I'm just snugging this up real nice. Okay, and that's all there is to installing the blade in the handle. Let me show you on the bottom side of things. And I'm not going to completely disassemble this. There's a tool post with a stop collar. Okay, and the stop collar you use to set your blade height to the center of the lathe. All right, and I'm going to double check mine. I eyeballed it before, but I'm going to double check it now with a live center. So this collar slides up and down, and that's how we set the height of our collar. And I'm going to double check it. I'll put something in here. Well, shoot, I got a live center over here. That'll work. I'll just stick that in here. And in the end camera, you can kind of see it's not zoomed in super tight, but my tip is, I'm just a fuzz below. So let's see if I can adjust that just a tick. Bring that up. I mean, it's just a little teeny bit. So I need to slide my collar down probably about, that might be too much. Let's check and see. Yep, so now I'm a little too high, so I'm gonna drop in here below and just hold it with my hand. That's right on the money. All right, tighten that collar up. So now my cutter and my center is lined up perfectly. Exactly what I need. Keep track of my Allen wrenches. Okay, now the next thing, I want to go ahead and get a blank on here. Now what I did a little bit of basic standard blank preparedness, if you will. A piece of green poplar. It's got a 3.5 inch or so tenon on it. So I went ahead and just made a basic shape, nothing fancy. This wood is super green. I've got a Nova Titan chuck out here that I'm using. I don't know if you've been noticing, hopefully you have, that Spydercraft also now carries the Nova products, and we've been adding the chucks into the store. So this is a green one. Oh, going the wrong way. This is green, and we're going to core from the inside out. I figured I'd get your attention with that, Rich. There we go. So the first core that I take, the first cut I'm going to make, is going to be the smallest one right out of the center, okay? Now this being green, theoretically we'd want to take, say, inch and a half slices out of here, out of the piece. And I may have to adjust that camera for you. And I'm actually going to clean this up real quick with the tool. So I'll get a gouge out or something here. That's again the beauty of this. It comes right out. Set her off to the side for a minute. Grab your tool rest. Pop her right in there. Now I'll probably adjust that end camera in just a minute. I'm going to wait till I get everything set up. Okay. Can't go any lower anyway. Let's get this kind of clean. That way we have nice rims on the top of our piece. Oh, and by the way, I finally changed out, not my face shield, but I changed out the goggles. So I don't know if you remember back in the spring, I sprayed lacquer on the lens. Oh well, so I changed out my goggles this morning where I can see. All right, now in theory, I have a magic marker handy. I see that I got one right over here. Hey, there's that tape measure I was looking for too. When I hold up the green tape measure, it looks weird in the key. Anyway, what do we got? We have an about an 8 3/8 inch piece here. I'm trying to keep that out of camera sight. Yeah, Rich, I'll switch to an Orion just as soon as I can get my hands on one. That is the plan. All right. Let's just play with this from the end again here. Let's say, our 1.5 inches out here. And we may only get 2 out of this, who knows. There's our cutter. So can we get, I don't know, we might get another thin one out of this. We'll see. Let's see if we can't get a small bowl out. We'll make it, we're just going to use a ballpark idea right in here. All right. I've got plenty of depth on this. So that's just, I guess that's probably less than 3 inches. That's actually, it's right at 3 inches. So in theory, we can get this little teeny mini, which they're fun, little teeny mini bowls, a nice little small bowl, and then about an 8-inch piece out of this one blank. Okay. So I do see that I need to adjust that camera, so I'm going to put you back on the overhead for a second so I don't make you dizzy. And let's go ahead and move this over a little bit. That way. I'm trying not to let the mess in the shop show up so much. I cleaned it up. I did clean up, and then I made an entire complete mess of it this morning, getting things ready. All right. Back into the tail or the banjo. Now, I did not completely finish getting all my pieces and parts ready. Here's one thing I want to show you. With the bowl saver, you get 2 depth jigs, if you will. My fan over here is blowing on them. But these are paper adhesive back. You cut them out and stick them on a piece of plywood or a piece of plexi. And this is what we can use to set our depth. Now, I don't have one yet. I got one coming. There's also, and it's really cool, there is a laser setup. You replace the bolt right here. This bolt gets replaced with a hollow core. And then there is a laser bar that comes up and comes over, and the pins, it's all set up for the system from Woodcut. And it will laser show you the end of the bowl, exactly where the bottom of your cut's going to be, and the arc of the cut. So really cool. I just don't have one in here yet, but that's something that I've got coming, and that we'll have them in the store as well. So in the overhead again here, base of the bowl, I don't know, you probably can't read that, and center of the bolt. So if I center that up, that's going to show me how deep my bowl will be, okay? Now I also know that I need to come over here, and I'm going to lock this up a little bit, because I'm going to be making this really small one. And this bolt, the center does not have to be in the center of the piece, okay? And that shows me, and I'm going to take my marker. I'm kind of curious. I actually haven't used these yet. So I'll lay this way. And I don't want it to be that deep, so I'm going to back this up a little bit and keep adjusting, because I want this to be fairly shallow, somewhere around there. All right. Then I move my banjo over. Okay, so you notice I have not put this into tailstock yet, because I'm still doing all my adjustments. All right. So until I get things where I want them, I'm not going to lock that in. So this shows me that I'm going to have, and taking this little one out, this center guy right here, taking this guy out, sure, it's a cute little bowl, but actually it's kind of just a easy way to get the center out of your bowl. That's the one you're really going to be using, okay? All right, so we're going to go with that. Now here in our support, we bring it up into our tailstock. and I have the fill irons video. I took about 3 minutes out of a full video from Woodcut and put it with the product on the website. When you go to the website to check out the product, I'm looking for my little mallet here. The video from Phil Ironton, I cut it back a little bit because it was about 15 minutes long. But one of the things he recommends is give just a little tap with a rawhide mallet or so to your tailstock support, and then your nut that's underneath here, we tighten that up. That locks that in. A little pressure there for sure. Make sure everything I've got is tight and snug everywhere. Okay. So now this is where we are. Let's see how our piece spins. We're in the overhead. All right. So we want to turn maybe around 500 or 600. We don't want to turn super fast. So you can see there that I'm set up to come in on that line. Okay. It's going to be a little smaller, so I may stop and move things over. I want it to be just a little bigger. So I'm going to stop and adjust. Now, if I wasn't talking to you, we'd already been long since done. But as some of the viewers of Monday Methods will tell you, I talk too much. And that's the way it is. Okay. Back to the end view. We should be set. That's about what I'm looking for. Put my mask on. And double check everything is where it needs to be. Now this first one is pretty small. And as you go, stop and clear the chips out. Now this is green. So it's nice and easy. Now one thing that's worth mentioning with my mask, when we first start cutting, we're cutting across the face grain, all right, and going straight in, and it's not too bad. When you get, as the blade comes around at the angle, you start to cut into the end grain, all right, and you'll notice the difference. Just take your time, okay? Take your time, and it'll go right through. Now this is just going to be a little Rudy Poot guy here. And there we are with our first mini absolute super mini bowl. But we've also taken out the center of our first core. So now we have our little teeny mini. All right. Not really in this particular case particularly useful. It might make a nice lid for a little ornamental lidded box or something like that. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we want to go ahead and set up for our second bowl, which is a more prominent piece. And when we cut that out, that's also, as a byproduct, going to give us our third piece, which is our biggest piece. All right? So probably, I'm not sure which way is showing best for you guys. I think I'll go to the end camera, and you guys tell me, as I reset everything here, I'm going to loosen this up, loosen everything up. Start to move in. And so let me give you overhead here, because here's my jig. Center of the bolt, bottom of my piece. That seems about right. Maybe I want a little bit more. Let's see what that does for me. See, okay, so now that's too deep. I don't really think that's close. That would leave me theoretically about 1.5 inches in the bottom. So let's do that. It's maybe a thin 1.5 inches. I'm going to back up just a fuzz. Okay. And I'm in the overhead camera. Double check again. I think that looks about right for what I want. Okay. All right. Now, when I tightened up the banjo there, I saw things move. I didn't know that banjo was going to rock. So it's kind of good to keep an eye on all that kind of stuff. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's a little too much. So let's back up. Tailstock just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to tighten that tailstock up, or banjo first. Okay, that's much better. And in my end camera, you can see that I'm a little to my inside line, so I might want to come over just a fuzz, just a little bit more. That's why I haven't tightened up the tailstock support bolt yet, because when you move your banjo left to right, this needs to be loose. Okay? Banjo snugged up, cutter's where I think I want it. Double check my depth again. Looks pretty good. Should give me just about right. Okay. A little tap on our tailstock support. Tighten up the bolt. Back up. Double check everything snug. Put on my face mask. And we are in the overhead. I'll leave it in the overhead to start with here. One hand right here on the blade. Helps keep any vibration at bay. I'll switch to the end camera. Come out, clear my chips. If I knew I had air in my compressor, I would go choot choot and blow it away. This coring the green wood is super easy. And we're getting extra bowls, not wasting the wood. Now, if you want to leave a tenon on these, or a possible tenon, you can get it, depending on where you're at, you can with practice you can snap them. All right. I think I'll go a little bit further. You can go all the way because there's plenty of material here. Or, like I say, you can take your mallet, if you've got enough of it done, and depending on the wood, and you just give it a tap like that. And out comes your piece. Now, there's enough material here. If I take my calipers, reaching across on you, I've got about 1.25 inches there in that little bowl. So plenty enough room to chuck that piece up from the end, put a little teeny tenon on it, and continue on with that. So there's our second little piece. Nice little bowl. Nothing wrong with that at all. Great little piece in the small shape. Okay. Now, if you look inside here, you'll see there's still a nub in there. Yeah, if I want to, I can come in and clean that off. Don't have to. You can use your bowl gouge to finish that out. Slide everything back. Okay. Now, if I wanted to take some more out of the inside of this, I could readjust. I don't think I will. I think I'll just do it with a bowl gouge. But I could come in and take a little bit deeper pass if I wanted to. But I want to switch over. There's more work in this big guy here, so I want to switch over to that. So that's ready to finish turn on the inside, or you could turn your outside down. So that's how simple and easy that is to get. We'll say 1, 2, maybe 3 out of the piece with virtually no waste, right? So that's the way the system works on the green. Again, bigger piece, lots more bowls, all the good stuff there. Now, this is going to take more work. The dry wood is definitely dustier, and I brought home a dust collector, 2 of them actually, from Colorado. I got to get set up in here. But let's go ahead and mount up this piece of sycamore. So this is green. We'll bag this up, put it away. Well, actually, I'll jump in here afterwards and turn the center back out of that a little bit further and finish the shape up. But great deal there. Okay, so here I have the bigger blank. Now, what I've done here, I study YouTube too. I go on YouTube. Oh, I see. Looks like we dropped off of Facebook. Don't know what happened to Facebook. Hopefully we're still on YouTube. Can anybody see me there on Facebook? It says try again. I'm going to walk over to the control room real quick and see if anything looks crazy. So pardon me for that if you're watching on YouTube, because I don't monitor YouTube. Not sure what's going on. Let's see if I'm back. I'll refresh that particular computer. Don't know what the deal there is. But hate to lose you guys on Facebook. And like I said, I don't know if it's on my end or if it's something else. I'm going to check. So I'm over here in the control room. So pardon for the delay. And if I haven't lost you everywhere, you can pop in the chat column and let me know if we've gone away completely or not. Everything appears to be fine in the streaming system. Facebook says something went wrong and we're working on it. Well, Facebook, that doesn't do me any good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to turn, this is going to blink it out and blink it back. I'm going to turn off the Facebook feed and turn them back on and see if we can get it to come back. If you're on YouTube, just bear with me as I see if I can't get a Facebook feedback. Facebook is one of those love-hate relationships, as we most all know. Okay, Dan, so you're on YouTube and it said it's still working. Great, I appreciate that. Like I say, it looks like Facebook went down for God knows what reason. Facebook has its problems, which stinks. Let's see, because there was a number on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Well, come on, I'll give this one more try, then I'll go back out and continue on. Because we hate to leave our Facebook followers out of this. And when you're doing this by yourself, well, it definitely makes for its own challenges. So I will try and see if it's coming back to life or not in the Facebook world. Looks like Facebook may have completely gone down, which in some ways wouldn't bother me in the least. I use it. I can't say I'm a huge fan. It's a necessary evil. I can't even get Facebook to come up at all. So I'm just going to leave that be, and I'm going to continue on YouTube, and we'll check on it here in a little bit. But I can put the whole recording on I had to get a sip of water there, onto Facebook from the YouTube download. Plus, I record all these. Yeah, I think there's a Facebook outage. My luck, right? Come back, start doing my live streams, Facebook goes down. Oh, well. I watch Colin Way. Cohen Way, I'm trying to remember how to pronounce his name or get it right, on how he did insert a mortise here to hold his piece whenever you turn it around. So I've got a tenon on this end, I've got a mortise on this end. So when I'm ready to turn this around, and this piece, this sycamore, for those of you that are here on still with me on YouTube, this sycamore has been notorious for some cracks and all. So I've started CA gluing that crack up, hoping it won't give me an issue. But this will allow me to hold this piece in reverse to put another tenon on the next piece. I thought that was pretty slick when I saw that, and I said, yep, I want to do that with my bigger piece today. Don says Facebook is gone. Y'all need to be on YouTube anyway. The feed is actually better. Well, Dan, am I getting things pretty much right? Have I been a quick student and a good study with my 3 rounds? With the bowl saver? I hope you'll say yes, even if it's just to humor me. I've had a ball with it. I think it's great. I'm loving working with it. Now, for this one, for this bigger piece, I'm going to go ahead and change the cutter out and put the bigger cutter in place. Let go. Because this particular blank is 10 inches. And I realize that it makes a little extra effort, and maybe I'll leave I'll leave the second blade in, the small blade in this time. It's so nice to be back in the studio. Like I say, because I was gone this summer getting my house on the market, I just need somebody to buy it. So I've been out of here for a few months, and I am super happy to be back. And going to be doing another product showcase in November. I know people love the product showcases. I'm going to get that set up, orchestrated, and ready to roll. Because we've added the Woodcut products as we're adding them, and we've added the Nova products. There's lots of new things to show in the showcase. So when you put your other blade in that you're not going to use, make sure it doesn't stick out past the plate, the platen, the platform, so that it doesn't inadvertently touch. Yes, Dan, I think this thing is the bowl saver is really well engineered. It's super easy to use. Like I say, I breezed through the directions. I mean, I did read them. Don't get me wrong. I read them, and then I said, let's just go experiment and find out about this and how it works. And I've been having a ball. And you can be sure, if the woodworking shows comes back out in 22, the owner says that he's working on a shortened schedule. There will be a coring seminar out there with the Woodcut bowl saver. Snug these up real nice. Okay, let's work our way back down here. Now, I'm going to make this a little thinner, but here's the deal. If I could make this finished thickness, hey, Michael, glad you weren't on Facebook because Facebook went down. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. You can cut this as pretty much a finished thickness because it's a dry piece of wood, but since this one is compromised, as you can see here, even though I threw some CA glue in there, I don't have all the faith in the world in it, and it's a shame because it's actually got some nice spalting going on, some nice pattern to it and all that. So getting a little punky in the end grain. So I'm not going to cut these super thin. I'm thinking about maybe 3/4. That's 3/4 right there. So I think I'll leave it at 3/4 to stay safe. Okay, now I'm reaching my arm in the way I see there. Go to the overhead. Oh, I'm in the overhead. Okay, never mind that. Here's my bolt point. So that tells me that the bottom of my bowl will be here where my finger is that I take out. So that will give me a nice piece out of there. And yet I can take away the excess here. And because I want to keep this deep profile on this particular piece, I didn't want to carve all this away to match. So I get different shapes out of the piece, which to me is really key. And I can't go much deeper than that. Anyway, I could go maybe another 1/8 of an inch. So that's what I've got there. Now you'll notice that with this dry wood, and this wood is 4 years dry, so it's probably pretty dry all the way through. You won't get the big wet peeling shavings coming off like we were with the green wood. You'll get some nice shavings. The end grain will definitely make you work a little bit harder. Again, the Sterilite cutter, it stays really sharp. And when I was turning that piece yesterday, I didn't have any trouble. Just take my time and move right along. So let's get cracking, as they say. Put on my... I just love this face mask. I know it looks goofy to some people in the world, but I can flip it up. I can have a sip of water, not have to take everything off, flip it back down. Okay, and I'm going to double check that everything is tightened up, because I see that the tool rest was good, tailstock was not. Double check my grip in the chuck. Okay. This wood is not super strong. It is sycamore. She's a little out around there. Oh, let's go. You can see that. Not too bad. So we'll go to the end. Michael, you get to retire. Congratulations, bud. And your wife's already retired. Sweet deal. So now you can just work in the shop. That's great. Again, I just rest one hand on the cutter, but you can just barely see there. Getting a little blinking in that one camera. Not sure if it's got a cable wire going bad. Hang on just a second. I hate to lose the camera. Not sure what its deal is. I'll go to the overhead until I see if that stabilizes. I really want that end camera though. I'm going to stop real quick and see if I can't figure out what's going on with that camera. I'm going to leave it in the overhead. I apologize for the fact that it's getting wacky. If I go to mess with it now, it'll probably stay on. Now it seems like it's staying on. It'll make me chase it around is what it's going to do. Yeah, the end camera was blinking in and out, and now I went to fix it and it stopped blinking in and out. Like I said, it's going to make me chase it around. Electronics. So it doesn't do it till I start cutting. That's interesting. If I stop cutting, it stops blinking. And there's no reason for that. I'm going to double check something else real quick. I'm going to walk over here. Make sure that everything's plugged in good over here. Not sure what its deal is. I've had that camera and been on the road with it for years. That stinks that it's doing that. Let's see if that'll bring it to life and stay to life or not. Always something. Sorry about the jiggle, guys. Maybe it'll hang in there. Maybe a vibration, something in the room when I'm doing this is giving us vibration. Maybe a cable going bad. There's no dust in here. You know, there's no dust in this environment, that's for sure. Har har. Yeah, I'm watching on the monitor up there. I've got one monitor that just shows me all the cameras, Mike, and I can see that it's hanging in there now. What I did is I unplugged the cable, plugged it back in, and then put a little tension on it to hold it pressing down or up, however you want to look at it. So it may be the connection, may just be the cable, could be the camera. Got 1 million miles on them. So you can see I'm just taking my time. Blow my dust and my chips out. I see Facebook still isn't back. Maybe it's a gremlin day in the electronics world. It's interesting, I'm looking, so I guess when I remounted it, it wasn't true. You can see my center for this bowl is not centered anymore. Not the end of the world. It'll just make it the outside be out of true when we put it in the chuck to turn it around, make a tenon on it. So I'm just taking my time, working right in there. Scott, glad to see you made it over to YouTube. Yeah, Facebook is still out. So, you know, when you think about it, all that wood in the middle that we're saving with the bowl saver would have been thrown away, be chips on the floor. And that when I used to make, you know, all my pieces, I mean, I used to make 1,000 plus or minus a year, and it used to kill me. My mom, who was in here, of course, she's probably not on YouTube. My mom I was turning into my folks' shop up north. My mom loved all the chips because she used them in her walkways for her gardens. But it killed me to throw all that wood away. So you hear it getting louder. You can tell we're coming around into the face grain, or the end grain, excuse me. Make sure it's cleared out. Let's see if that wants to pop yet. I haven't used it enough yet to know a good reference point when things are ready to pop. There we go. Because if you can leave yourself a little bit of tenon, it saves you a lot of trouble. All right, well, I'm glad that camera number 2 hung in there for the end of that. Pop everything loose here. Slide her back. And so there we have, out comes our middle section. Now this piece, obviously you look inside here and you can see, that we have more to take out, but we got our other piece out of that. Because this is exceptionally deep. I mean, this piece is, it's 8 inches deep and 10 inches wide. It was actually the biggest blank I had hanging around, and that's why I grabbed it. Oh, so 10 inches wide, 8 inches deep. Beautiful piece of wood, bolted. This one may end up in the stabilizing chamber. Stabilize this up with stabilizing resin. Get some color into it. Have a great piece of spalted wood. Again, you can see in the overhead. It's got some nice spalting, but it's pretty soft on the end grain tearing out there and whatnot. Okay, so I'd go ahead and I would turn out the inside of that if I just wanted to keep making this piece and then set it off and go on about its business. But we want to go ahead and work on this next piece here. How am I doing on time? Let me look at the computer. What time is it? Took my watch off. 12:10. All right, good deal. So that's ready to have the rest of it taken out, and off we go. So now that's got a little knot right there in the edge. This I glued up. So we need to make a tenon here. We're going to pop this. Now this piece isn't true to this center recess, because somebody got it askew. Not horrible, but we can clean that up. So here's one of the beauties. I'm losing my voice. With the system. So I need to work on this with a bowl gouge, right? I need to get some other tools out. Quite simply, disconnect. This is what I really like about this. Pop it out on my tool rest, right? No big mess, no big fuss to change things around. Throw in a tool rest, and I'm right back in the regular turning business. All right? So let's see if we can't clean this guy up. Make a tenon and take one more little core out of it, and we'll switch the blade back to the small. And with it being 12:11, we should have plenty of time to finish this up by noon. All right. This is the banjo that doesn't go low enough most of the time. Yeah, it's great looking wood if it stays together. It's amazing what a nice edge the Stearite cutter puts on a piece. Simply amazing. This bowl gouge is not sharp. All right, let's see here. Put a little tenon on here, little small guy. 2 3/8. That'd be close. It's so easy to use that carbide tool to make a tenon. Makes it so quick. I think that should fit something that I've got hanging around. 2 1/4. We'll see what we've got. Let's so that I don't have to. You don't have to see me over there rooting around. Let's see what we have hanging around here. This one's too big. This is bigger. Trying not to have to change jaws on anything. I don't think that one will work. We'll find out. It might. Oh, that's right on the money. That's what we made it for that. Perfect. You can't, I'm sorry, but you can't argue about how handy it is to have chucks all over the place. You know, if I just look around, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just within sight. That way you don't have to change a whole lot of things too often. All right. Pop that around. So that whole concept right there, putting the recess in, the mortise in there, to get it turned around, great idea. We did it ahead of time, made for a super easy way to go about this. Take the Titan off. We'll change brands. We'll go over to Sorby. Spiralercraft does carry the Sorby products and the Sorby chuck, Sorby Patriot chuck. We carry the Nova chucks. We carry the Easywood chucks. And now we carry the products from Woodcut. The good folks down in New Zealand. Someday I have to come to visit. Years ago, Dan, I was in the river industry, and I had friends who would go to New Zealand for whitewater rafting and work with the companies down there. Oop. Did I make that too long? There we go. All good. Here's what I like. It's kind of interesting. So I've been using the Easywood key on everything. 1 key, 3 brands of chucks. What a deal. Take the tool rest back out. Put my bowl saver back in. I mean, this just blows me away. I was watching one-way video the other day and all the setup and everything you have to do. And I'm like, see how fast and easy, quick that is? I mean, just boom. Take the tool rest out and put your bowl saver back in. Okay? No big deal. Now we do want to change blades. Get this tool back out of here. I'd say I'm rusty from not being out here in my organization. But then again, I'm usually looking for stuff anyway, always chasing parts. It's kind of funny. So this room is 200 square feet or so. It's amazing. Well, the problem is, you'd think, well, how can you lose something in 200 square feet? Well, the 200 square feet is full. There's no emptiness whatsoever. Now, I have a question, and I'll bet Dan's going, Brad, why don't you just leave it in the right way, and then you don't have to take it all the way apart? You can just slide it out of the way. So let's see. Maybe I'll try that for the future. Flush that up at the end there. That makes a lot more sense. See, I learn as I go. I'm getting older, but I can still learn. I'm waiting for it to cool off. I got spoiled because I spent the summer in Colorado at 10,000 feet, where the high was, in the low 70s, and the night times were usually in the 40s. A couple of nights in the upper 30s, but the highs would be in the 70s. No humidity, no internet, which unfortunately I had great plans to do a lot of spiralcraft work while I was there working on the house and all that stuff. And the internet, without putting service back in for the summer, the internet kept me from getting anything done. But it sure was nice to be in cool, crisp, dry air all summer long. Just make sure this is snug. Okay, good deal. Bring everything back into place, generally speaking, loosening everything up. There we go. All right. So, there's a knot. If that end camera will hang in there, there's a knot right here, which we can just put in the rim of this. We're going to get our small, I just reached my arm in the way, I'm sorry. We're going to get our small jig. Again, I'm looking forward to the laser. So I'm going to back this up. So this is dry, so that's fine. Let's get this squared up. See where we're at here. Yeah, we're in the overhead, okay. So we can go a little bit deeper. We want to come over a little bit. Come over a lot. There we go. That'll leave us about a 3/4 inch wall over here, approximately. Double check in our length. So now, yeah, I think that should be fine. That's about 3/4 of an inch. That should be just about right, I believe. That's what we'll go with. Okay, everything's all snugged down. Everything's good. Everything's tight. Boy, I'm right on the money with that, with the chuck. Got nothing left to spare there. Face mask back on. Looking good. Let's go back to the end camera for you. Hopefully it will stay on. turning a little faster than I want to, but I was turning about 1,000 there. Now as it gets smaller, you can turn faster, but it seemed a little fast. Took her down to about 600 there. I'll show you in the overhead as well, just to change the view for you so you can see how it looks. Are we selling the jig with the larger blades right now? The Max 3, I believe it is not currently available. It will be coming back out here in the future. So this one comes with the 2 blades, Scott, the smaller one and the larger one. They both come with this one. Let's see if that does the trick. Some of that vibration might be the fact that I'm right at full tilt on the chuck. Well, broke the wood. That's what I was afraid of. That's what you get when you work with a piece of broken wood. We'll just take that chip out of there. Don't need any flying projectiles. I bet you that'll snap, he says. Or maybe not. No, but the split in the wood will. I wondered about that with my split sycamore. So this is what happened to me yesterday because this sycamore isn't very strong. Unfortunately. Let's go ahead and cut this out of here. I'm going to say that should pop loose. And it did. So it wasn't the strongest piece of sycamore in the world anyway, and I knew that it had its own risk. Got just a little nub in there. You can see down inside, just a little teeny bit of a nub. If we want to, we can pop that out. All right. And that, my friends, is fun with bowl coring. That was great. I've still got times 12:27. I'm ahead of schedule for me, which is cool. I don't know. Let's see. I might find something else in here to throw on there real quick. If you guys are hanging with me, I know that I lost the Facebook crowd, but hey, that happens. So, great little bowl there. You know, centerpiece left over. So here was where it came from, right? No waste, but all that was saved. We got a nice little bowl out of that. Obviously, the little teeny one, I broke it because the wood wasn't very strong. I mean, this is a great way to go for utilizing your wood resources. I mean, we talking, if you watch the news these days, and with inflation going up and all kinds of craziness, if you're one who has to go down to the store, i.e., whatever your local wood supplier is, be it Woodcraft or Rockler or a wood reseller, and you're paying top dollar for a blank of wood, if you're paying $60 for a bowl blank and you can get 2 extra bowls out of it, you'll pay for your blank of wood. Now, I mean, I'm one of those people that's got the other realm. I've got too much wood and I paid next to nothing for it. But even then, if I was still doing art and craft shows, the weekend stuff and making pieces for galleries, all that, where I had to produce a whole lot of pieces, which is where I was years ago when I almost bought a coring system. Because I pay, you know, 40, well, it's up to $60 a ton right now. I was paying 40 for years and it went to 45, and now I pay $60 for a ton of wood, a literal ton, 2,000 pounds, which is a whole bunch of wood. So my wood is not expensive. And if I was in the reselling of my finished pieces, this bowl saver would make me a whole lot of money, because all those chips that went to my mom's walkway would now be dollars in my pocket. So I'm really impressed, and I think it's a cool thing. For $500 right now, you know, $499.97, $519 every day. This will pay for itself if you're reselling, especially. It'll pay for itself in no time with those extra bowls. You know, how many times $40, let's say, that you get for a bowl? You don't have to make a whole lot of bowls to cover your cost on this, and it's just that much less to clean up. Instead of having to pile up a whole trash can full of chips, I've got just a little bit of chips. So I think it's pretty cool. Now I see that, like I said, it's only $12.30, and I've got another chunk of wood laying around in here. So maybe I just do something off the cuff. Let's see what this is. I don't even know. I'm certain it's a piece of poplar or sycamore. It's probably full of cracks, and if it is, I'm not going to turn it. It's real small. It is sycamore. It is small. It's not full of cracks. We could get one mini bowl and one regular bowl out of this guy. One small and one super mini. And we're set up for mini. So since we got a half an hour, and I was going to say I got nothing else to do, but you know, we know that's not true. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and let's have fun. Let's go through the steps and whip up another one. We'll do it quick and dirty kind of thing. We won't be crazy or fancy about it. Hopefully I'll find some sharp tools. I didn't sharpen any gouges because I wasn't really planning to speak of on turning anything other than working with the bowl saver. But we'll have a little fun. He says, yes, do another one. You just want to see me have some epic, crazy failure thing happen. I know the style. Let me get the Easy Chuck and put a worm screw in this, if I can find a drill bit real quick. Completely unprepared for this particular segue segment. But everything's close at hand here somewhere. And I'd like to give you your money's worth for the full 2 hours. I love it when people complain that I talk too much and da 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 da. And I'm like, it's a recorded live stream, which means you can come back later and watch it and fast forward and go right on by all my boring talking about little things that actually might be a tip. Oh no, you're good, Scott. I'm talking about some of the people that will post comments after the fact, and they're watching the recording. They're not even watching the live presentation, and they're like, "Quit talking and do this or do that." I'm like, "Well, I kind of like to talk, and I get paid to talk out of the woodworking shows and other demonstrations. I mean, that's what people give me money for, is to talk." And it's the little things, I think, in between the big ideas. Oftentimes, it's the little things that are the light bulb goes off. Oh my, I never thought of that. Well, if I just stuck to all the big stuff, you might not catch that one little tip that you fast forwarded by. That's just my... Roy, there you are. I was wondering about you, buddy. I hadn't seen you. And I just got back to live. Roy, you're cancer-free. It is fantastic. Email you later about the bolt cutter. I'll order one today. Sweet. Roy is an awesome guy. I've met Roy. We've never met in person. One of these days we will. Even though I drove by his place sort of about 4 times this summer, but I was in a hurry. Roy came to the AAW virtual symposium. No, excuse me. It was the Woodworking Show's virtual symposiums online. And Roy and I would talk there, and then he comes to Thursday nights, and he comes here, and he calls me on the phone. He's out in Missouri. Wonderful fella. Good customer, good supporter of Spirecraft. Roy, love you for that, and I'm so happy that you are cancer-free. All right, so now I need to find a drill bit, guys. So I'm going to pop this into the overhead while I go over here and root around in my infamous drawer to see if I have something handy. This might do the trick. Because we're going to use a worm screw on this one. And I'm going to put this right in the center. So I measured that exactly. And I want to make sure that's the right side. Not that there's a right or wrong in this particular case. But we're going to put that right in the center. Perfectly measured. All right. And hopefully that's bit size will work for this. There we go. The sycamore isn't super strong, so it doesn't hold threads real well, so I just snug it up, and I'm going to run the tailstock on this. Go. I actually love doing things on the fly. It's what makes it especially. So I do the woodworking shows. I've been doing them for 11 years now. It was 11 years with the so 22 will be 12 years. And I get out there and I do my presentations, and then I just come up with a fresh idea in the middle of something, and I start going, and it keeps me fresh, keeps me entertaining, keeps it fun. I have a great time. Let's see. Well, I don't know what I want to use. I know some of my gouges aren't sharp, so I might do a little carbide here. We'll rough it with an Easy Wood carbide rougher. I'll mix it up just to get this thing round. Do. Corners are off of it. Let's grab a bull gadget. Might be sharp. Hey, it's got a hole in it. Ain't that fun? If you guys know me, you know that I love pieces of wood with holes in them, except that when I'm not planning for it. So this will be my first core with a special piece. A piece with a hole in it. That'll be exciting. Let's see what happens. See how this goes. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do do. If I hum, that means I'm having fun, right? I've lost my favorite pair of calipers. They're in here somewhere. I just don't know where. So it makes me have to do things a little differently. I'm going to find them because my dad gave them to me and they're really old. And I want them back. Do, 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 do. All right, since we got a hole in here, what are we going to do with this guy? We'll be just taking a little core out of the middle. Where are my easy wood gauges? I don't have any. If I did, I would have lost them anyway. They didn't send me any, so I don't have any. Do, 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 do. So I'm going to leave a little rim on this piece, even though we're going to core out the center. I'm going to leave that there just because. All right. Okay, cool. That cut nice, pretty good, all things considered. Let's clean up that edge here real quick. Just what I need is more pieces to hang around in a box somewhere. I had to kind of downscale my warehouses with the pandemic and all, and so everything kind of moved here to the house, and I got stuff piled up everywhere now. Boxes and boxes of pieces like this from different events. Oh, that's right, it's on a worm screw, dummy. Do 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 do. And in we go. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I'm so happy for Roy. Because last time I talked to him, he was doing the chemo and all that stuff. And he's all good now, so that is a wonderful thing. All right. Let's clean up the face of this real quick. Took the tool rest away too soon. We'll get one more little mini bowl out of this. That looks fine. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom. Like I said, this is what sells me on this system. Because once it's set up for your lathe, as far as getting it on the machine, that's it. Done deal. You're in there. All right. Loosen this guy up. I've got the little blade in place already. Get out my template for the small. And we need to back up. Do 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 do. All right, so you can see, oh, yeah, that's what I want. Center it on the bolt. There's where the bottom should come out right here where my thumb is on my left hand. That should be the bottom of what we cut. And I want to come over to about there. So you can see on the end, here's where I'm at on that. Double check again. All right, that looks good. So the learning curve is super short. But I just got this last week and started working with it, and I mean, it's not difficult at all, and it works great. Okay, double check that everything's tight everywhere. Slow my speed down. Okay, and we are on the end camera, which is not blinking. Tell you what, let's do. Just for fun, hang with me. I'm going to zoom it in on you. Don't let me make you sick. Here we go. Get you right up in the mix, so to speak. Okay? Stop, clear the chips, make sure. And I think that's ready to pop. I think. I could be wrong. Let's see. Guess I'm off by just a little bit. Can't be much more. Not much left. There we go. Because if you could end up making yourself like a little 1-inch tenon, that one's a little smaller than that. I see the camera's a little low, but there we are. Clean the last of the numb off there just for fun. And just that quick. Zoom that back out. One quick little bowl, two bowls if you want the mini. Not bad at all. What's the largest core you can make with this set of blades? I want to say it's 12 or 14 inches. You know, the outside is whatever you want now. So to the question, the next one in, and I think with the big blade, and I may be wrong. Let me double check something here. I'm going to look at this. It is about 5.5 to the outside of the cutter. So theoretically, and I could be quoting you wrong, about 11 inches to 12 inches on the inside, something like that. I do believe. Don't hold me to that exactly. All right, where am I? Hey, cool. And we didn't come through the hole in the side. All right, great little bowl, nice little fun shape to it. Got our little extra piece here. If nothing else, these are great for jigs, but I mean, little teeny fun little bowls to do decorative things with, and you didn't waste it. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. All right, it is 12:52, so I think it's about time to wrap it up. If you've got any questions, pop them in the column over there. And like I say, Scott, I can double check that for you. I want to say it's about 12 inches, but I haven't used it enough to be right up to speed and on the money on that. So we can double check and find out for sure. Looking to see if there's any more questions pop up. I had a great time. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for first time I've been back here in months. It's been a great day. I had fun. Again, the Woodcut bowl saver in the store, use the code CORE. It'll get you down to $499.97, get you under the $500 mark. Yeah, 12 inches. That's what I was thinking, but I wanted to be sure before I said that. But I was pretty sure it was 12 inches with the large blade on the bowl saver. So we could have these out to you this week. They're here in the States, ready to go. We'll be stocking them here at the warehouse very, very soon. Keep watching the Spirecraft page, and if you're, Facebook and Instagram, because I'll be putting the rest of the Woodcut products in the Proform Hollower. We have the whole Proform Hollower series that's still, I haven't put it in yet, so I'll be using it out here. The True Grind sharpening system. Real excited about that. I brought in a whole nother grinder to set up the Woodcut True Grind system on it as a dedicated one for that system. There's the irons, the fill irons, the scraper, a lot of things. They've got a little, and I haven't seen this one yet, a little mini carbide tool that I'm super excited to try out. And Dan, don't shoot me for forgetting the name of the little mini tool off the top of my head. But I know I want to get my hands on it real bad, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, I got some great ideas for this little mini cutter, because it's designed to be head and rolled, and it's a carbide cutter, or I say carbide, I could be wrong again, but you can rub the bevel with it and do a shear cut. So it's really cool. I'm pretty excited about that. Quite a few products. Again, I don't have them all on top of my head yet. From Woodcut products that we'll be bringing in a big order in November, and otherwise everything is here in the States I can get right away. So looking forward to it. Great folks to work with. We've had several meetings online. Real nice folks. Great product. As you can see, this thing works. Somebody put their thought into it. So on that, let's wrap this up until next Monday. Now, I will reinstate my Thursday nights out here. So if you're a member of the Monday Methods Wood and Resin Turning Group on Facebook, which is broken, apparently I see it still hasn't come back. I will be coming back out here on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock. It's a Google Meet, so we can talk in person, actually have a conversation back and forth. And I do that for an hour on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern. Look forward to catching up with all you guys. Like I said, I've been away. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dan, for visiting with us. I know it was early where you got up in New Zealand this morning. Really appreciate your time, and I'll talk with you soon. Everybody, I'll see you next Monday. If I don't see you on Thursday night, swing by the Spire Cafe. You got any questions? You know the drill. Email me, message me, text me. You know how to get a hold of me. I'm going to the Mexican restaurant for lunch, and then I'll be back to work in the office. All righty. You guys have a great day, and I'm going to just put this on the overhead camera of that shot right there and go shut things down. See you guys. Oh, you didn't see me wave. See you guys.